10th of February 1996, and this is James Downey standing outside Ballymena station for the first time since 1946. When did you first come to Ballymena station, James?
1915 I started here.
And what did you start as?
As a cleaner.
Cleaner.
I started as an engine cleaner.
Yeah. And which company were you working for at that time?
That was the MRNCC.
And were they taken over by the
LMS then took over from them.
And then you're wearing the cap of the Northern Counties Committee.
NCC.
And when did they take over?
They were before the MRNCC. It was
Right.
just NCC.
Yeah. And you're wearing the coat of the London Midland Scottish.
The Midland Scottish.
They were the last people that you worked for, were they?
They were the last people who worked.
Right. So you started here in when?
1915, May 1915.
And
And I retired in 1966.
yes.
51 years.
And you started out in the Martinstown line first of all.
Yes.
So what time would you start in the morning here?
Oh, at different times. You had different shifts. Shift work. All the engine work was all shift work.
But the train left here at 7:30 in the morning.
For Parkmore, oh
Yeah.
yes, 7:35.
Now, looking around Ballymena station today, there's not much that you remember, is there?
Oh, nothing about that. That's a new station there now.
Yes.
It's not the old station.
What do you remember? Is there anything familiar around here?
There's nothing familiar at all. Everything's all gone. There's sheds up there for Martin's mill, like sheds there. And
Yes.
storing stuff. It's all gone well away.
Okay, well, we'll set out on our journey. We'll head to Martinstown now.
Right, okay.
How long is it since you've been out in the train to Martinstown, would you say?
Oh, a lifetime. I couldn't tell you. It must be 50 years.
50
Or
years.
60 years.
So we're going to make this journey today.
Uh-huh.
This was the first bridge that you went out to the Parkmore.
This one here, yes. This is the first one, on the Cullybacky Road.
Right.
Then you proceeded on out, and the next one was at the Ballymoney Road,
Right.
under the road there.
This is at Parkmore Drive.
Parkmore Drive, they call this.
Yes. Cushendall Yard here.
This was the Cushendall Yard, and the stuff all come down in this yard. It was a very busy yard at that time because all the stuff from the markets and everything all come down was loaded here in this yard.
Yes.
For Parkmore and up that way. And it was all put down, come in carts and was put into wagons here in this yard. There was a booking clerk there and all looking after the stuff. Everything was there. And then there was the man that looked after the iron ore at the gantry. The gantry was just across at the back of the houses over there.
And then did your train go on into the Ballymena station?
Not if you went into the yard with the hoppers, the goods, you didn't go down to the station. Only the passenger trains run right down to the station.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the hoppers, they came into the yard here and got rid of them and left in the loaded ones and took empty ones away out again out to the mines. It was a steady job all day, just running out and in with the ore, you know.
Ballymoney Road now, and this is at Parkhead.
Yes.
But in the old days, the railway went under this road.
The railway went under this road. That was the Parkhead Bridge.
It's the Ballymoney Road today. And it came out the other side where that,
Out the other side.
that modern house is.
Went away across to the Dury Road.
And there were no signals that you had to observe, were there?
Oh no, there were no signals on the road. It was just at the stations you got the signals. No.
And then after this, where was it? Ballycloughlin was the next stop.
The next stop was Ballygarvey.
Ballygarvey.
We're at the Dury Road Bridge here now, where the old bridge was, where the railway went under it. Up the back of the road now.
What was the mill called? What was the mill called?
Nesbitt Scotch.
Nesbitt Scotch Mill. Okay, we'll head to the cemetery now.
Okay.
There'll be a lot of your friends in the cemetery, James.
Oh, there's a lot of my friends in the cemetery.
Who would have travelled out on the train with you?
Oh, the passengers like.
Or the names of the driver?
Oh, Roddy Miller, they called the driver.
Yes.
Roddy Miller and another man they called John Frew. They were the two Parkmore drivers.
And what was the guard?
William Wilson.
William Wilson.
William Wilson.
Okay, well, we'll hear...
He's dead about 3 or 4 years ago. He was 94.
Where did he live?
He lived away up the Carnini Road.
Right.
You see the back wall of the cemetery there? I went up past the back wall of the cemetery, right up, and through below the road, up to Ballygarvey there.
It went below the road again?
Oh, below the road again,
Okay. This is the back of the cemetery wall now, James.
This is right up the back. Well, it must have come up this way.
Yeah. And then it went under this road, you say?
Well, under the road here.
Right. This is where this...
Must be all filled in.
Okay. Ballygarvey Road. And this is the bridge that went under the road.
Yes, that's right. It will be under the road.
And you had a good view of Slemish.
Good view all around there.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about this, James. There's a man called George Graham lives in Burshane, and he used to milk the cows for the people Graham that owned the thatch at that time.
Yes.
They used to have a dairy.
Yes.
And he used to watch for the smoke of the train coming through this tunnel.
Oh, yes.
And he knew it was 6 o'clock when he saw the smoke. And then he would bring in the cattle to milk them.
It was as good as a clock.
It was as good as a clock. He could, looking across the valley, he could see the smoke from your train.
Oh, indeed.
And maybe that was the train that you drove then.
It could happen to make been right.
Well, James, here we are at Ballygarvey. This was the old station down here.
Yes.
And did you stop long here usually?
Oh, about a minute.
And what did you do? Leave off papers?
People getting off and people getting on.
That's
Train,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Passengers. There was any there.
Do you see that house down there, James?
Yes, yes. Was that where the station was?
That's where the station. Now that was only built about 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
The old station building was still there.
Oh, was it? Uh-huh.
And then the train crossed behind the
Crossed behind there.
towards
yes.
Ballycloughan.
Next Ballycloughan, yes.
Now, you're telling me the story about when you left Ballycloughan, Ballygarvey station. What happened then? What used to happen?
Oh, there was a dog in the field there, sitting waiting for a paper being thrown out to him. And Willie Wilson, the guard, had it tied up with a bit of string every morning, threw it into the field, and the dog picked up the paper and went away up to home with it. It was a regular, every morning it was waiting for it.
And
It must have heard the train coming and was sitting waiting.
You don't remember who those people were, do you?
I don't remember them, no. I remember the dog and getting the paper, but I can't remember the name of the people that owned it.
Yes. You had a great view from your train, James. If you look across the blade there,
view here, right up
you've got Slemish and Skerry.
Slemish and Skerry and everything all around. Lovely.
Lovely view.
Lovely view. Away.
Okay, the next stop, Ballycloughan.
Ballycloughan.
Well, we've made it out to Ballycloughan station now, James.
Yes, that's right.
Do you want to walk up towards it?
We'll have a walk up, yes, just to see it.
Now, who do you remember that lived here, worked here?
People called Singler lived here.
That's right. Well, the gates were actually here.
Where? They didn't come across the road, just across the railway.
That's where the railway came out there.
Oh yes, that was it there, yes. Oh, indeed.
And then it went across there
Across
through the garden.
Here. That was it, yes.
And there's a bit of the platform still left. Now, you can see the platform there.
That's right, yes. See it there.
Now, what happened at Ballycloughan Station? They used to bring coal here, you say?
Yes, the stuff that went to Brashean down, or wherever it is down there for the woolen mills were.
Down to Wilson's Woolen Mill.
There were a lot of stuff come off here.
Yeah.
Over there.
There's an old
Then
churn.
it was carted down.
There's an old churn there that might well have come off the.
Likely did.
Was there a siding that would leave a truck of coal behind
There
you?
must have been a siding there for pushing a wagon of coal in. It must
Yeah.
have been. I forget now just all about it.
And who else worked here? Do you remember anybody who worked here?
Only the men that worked in the lengths, you know,
Yeah.
and the permanent men.
What?
Jimmy Sinclair was one, and there was a fellow they called McCulley, and another big man they called Hazelwood, I think it was they called him. I knew a lot of them.
That must bring back memories to you.
It all brings back memories when you see this here, boys. I never had any idea Ballycloughan House would be like that. There's a little great crest there.
How long do you think it is since you've been here? About 70 years?
I would say about 70 years. It was in the 20s, early 20s.
Mm.
When I was running up and down here. 23 or 24.
Well, what else do you remember then from here?
Well, that was the only thing about here. You went on up here, and the next stop was Rathkenny. From after we passed here.
All right, we'll go to Rathkenny.
Go to Rathkenny now.
Rathkenny Station, Miners Row. What do you remember about Rathkenny?
Well, there was a big lot of traffic to Rathkenny Creamery. Creamery cars and come out every day. And Ballymena full, back out empty again.
Uh-huh.
And there was coal come, and there was lots of stuff, bag stuff and all, I suppose for the place that must sold it to the farmers. And then there was the Rathkenny mine there, where there was ore come out there.
And who was the station master here?
Fletcher, in that time, away in the 20s.
Yes.
James Fletcher. Then he was transferred from here to Ballinasea.
That's on the on the Larn. That's on the Larn line.
On the Larn line.
Right. Rathkenny Creamery. You wouldn't recognise Rathkenny Creamery now, James, would you?
Oh, not at all. Not a sign of it about the place.
It's now used as a.
It's all gone now.
Yes.
All gone.
Do you remember the manager there that used to live?
Living up there at that house?
Yes, Hamilton. Do you remember the man Hamilton that used to live?
I do, yes, I remember him, I remember Hamilton, I do. Oh, yeah.
And did he used to bring coal out to the mine?
There was some coal come out, yes, out to the station here. And butter and milk. We didn't bring milk out, they brought the butter, and then the milk come from the creamery back into Ballymena again. Went all different places, was changed into other trains, transferred over. Where they went to.
There was a siding for the mines as well, wasn't there?
There was a siding for the mine. The mine was a siding by itself with no at the back. Up, right up. I think it would be about half a mile up or so up in the place there, to the mine. Maybe more.
Do you remember any of the people that worked on the mine?
No, I didn't know any of the miners, no. I knew the engineer fellow was on, Captain Martin. Captain Martin, he travelled out regular from Ballymena every day out to Rathkenny here. It was under Mayor, no company had the mine here.
Now, here we are. This is at Glenravel.
Yeah.
This is where you took on water.
This is Knockanolly.
Knockanolly.
Knockanolly, yeah.
And you
The engine got water here.
and what?
And the driver got a bottle of Guinness out in the
And the pub.
While you were getting one.
Yeah. He left you to put the water in the engine.
The fireman done the water into the engine, got everything ready, and he was out having a bottle of Guinness
Right.
while that was taking place.
And who was the manager here? Who was the station master?
John Johnson, they called him. Johnny Johnson. Very nice fellow. Oh, he was a very nice man. He was well liked. Everybody liked him.
He was Johnson of Dunlop and Johnson, is that right?
Aye, the same Johnsons, yes. Those his sons that has that Dunlop and Johnson's place now.
Right.
That shop.
Okay, after Knockanolly, where did we go to?
After we left Knockanolly,
Yes.
then the next station was Crossroads.
Well, James, we're near the end of our journey now.
We're near the end of the journey.
This was your station.
This was Parkmore station.
Who was the station master here?
A big fellow they called McQuitty was the station master at that time.
And what happened up here?
Well, the station here, you run into this platform with your train and hooked off, went up, and there was a loop line round till you went round the back end of it. Hooked on again, you were ready then for Ballymena again. And there was a wee row of houses there, the Miners' Row they called that too, for miners, and that's all gone now. So.
Well, were there any mines up at this level?
No, there wasn't any mines here, but they brought them. They were down, and it was down from the mines. The mines were way back up in the mountains there, and the wee railway brought them down. They had two wee engines working up here, not railway engines. They belonged to the mines, and Captain Dryburg, they called the man that was the mining engineer. And they had the two wee engines. They brought it down, and they loaded hoppers, and they got them there. But it was called Parkmore Mine. And then away about half a mile or more further up, the bauxite mine was then. That was brought down too to the railways, the side of the railway. But the mines were away far back in the mountain.
Well, this station really serviced Cushendall, did it?
It did, yes, that's right. Well, the Cushendall, any goods traffic that was for Cushendall went to Retreat.
Right.
And it was carted from Retreat down to Cushendall.
But you said it only went 3 days to Retreat a week.
3 days. 3 days in the week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And my time, maybe they might have went before that. I don't know anything about it then, you see. It was only in the 1920s that I got to know about it, or got to see it, because that's when I came out to work on it.
Well, tell me, you're talking about a great memory you had with some soldiers came on the train one time.
One time, there was we had a special train from Ballymena with about five carriages on the train. With a couple of two wee engines were on bringing it up, and it was a London Scottish they called them, and they all got off at Parkmore station, and they marched down the Glen Road, the way down there for Garntower to camp, and it was lovely. Up here they're not a sound, and whenever that pipe band that they had was going away down the glen, you never heard music like it. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I never forgot it. Never heard anything like it in my life. It was beautiful.
What other memories have you of up here?
Not much.
You have a great memory for attractive women. Were there any nice girls that came in from Martins?
The only lady about here was Lizzie Morrison from Retreat, the station master's daughter. Lizzie was always on the go. Whenever we went to Retreat, Lizzie and I used to go to the spring well for water. There were a wee well over in the face of the mountain. Get the water bottles filled and bring them back. That'd give Lizzie and me time for to have a wee bit of necking around the spring well.
I didn't think that sort of thing would have gone on in those days, James.
Oh, you done a bit of necking, no? And Alec Morrison, they called the station master at that Retreat. By Jove, it was a lonely place for to be.
Did he have any other daughters?
No, just that one girl, Lizzie, they called her, Lizzie Morrison.
What happened to Retreat Station? Was it burnt then in the Troubles?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened. After the railway closed, you see, the Retreat closed. There were no trains went to it. So after that, I don't know what happened about it. Anyway, then I heard it was a retreat for
The church?
scouts and one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the old house is still there yet or not, is it?
There's
Have you ever been down
There's
there?
not much there, no.
No, I don't think it'll be there. It'll be away now.
And then were the passengers met by jaunting cars from Cushendall then?
Oh, I've up here, yes, at Parkmore station. Jaunting cars, the mail car come up to get the mail of the train, and they had it was like a 4-wheel cart of car, and 2 horses in it. Well, that was the mail car. Well, if there was any passengers that were on the train for Cushendall, they get up into that thing.
Well, in the summertime there'd have been tourists coming here, wouldn't
Oh,
there?
there was tourists, a lot of them, and there was always plenty of jaunting cars about to take them down, you know.
Down to the waterfalls.
Took them down to the glens, and then left them off at the top of the glen, and then they went to the bottom of the glen, and whenever they come out the bottom end, they got them there again, then brought them back again. Oh, there was a lot of people there. They run special trains from Ballymena on Sundays in that time up to the Parkmore here for the glens. People going to the glens. The glens was a great go.
Well, did you ever have to stay overnight here?
Oh, no.
And winter time, did the snow affect you?
Winter time, though, terrible place for snow over here. You were snowed up occasionally.
Was the line blocked?
I remember one time they were blocked up. They didn't get through Parkmore for 2 or 3 weeks. One big snowstorm we had away in 1916. That was before I was ever coming up here. 1916 that was, and it blocked up the whole place. It just come on around about 10 o'clock at night. I remember it well, for I was at night work as a cleaner in the shed, and it just was blowing like powder. It come out of the east, just like powder, and it filled everything up. The turntable was filled outside the engine shed. Couldn't get engines turned out of the shed, and the whole place was blocked. And up round here, all the cuttings, didn't get through for ages. And they had no equipment for getting through, you know. They had no snow ploughs or anything. Don't know whether a snow plough had been any use to it or not. They just had to get it where they got it all dug away, you know. It took a couple of weeks or so for to do it. So,
Were there any schemes that people were doing? Stealing the coal, or?
No, I never heard about anything like that, no.
Would you have taken on coal here?
No, you never got anything up here at Parkmore. No, there wasn't anything here, just the old station.
And
There wasn't anything.
You didn't need turf to get back to Ballymena?
Oh, no, we always had plenty of coal to take us there. It was nearly a free wheel to Ballymena from Parkmore. It was all down now.
Yes. And it was very sore on the brakes.
The brake power, you had to have good brake power for to get down. But when you had a rake of hoppers on, the ore was very heavy. They put all the brakes down hard before you start it off, with a crowbar and a split pin and the thing for to keep the brake on. And that was on till you come to Martinstown. And then when you come to Knockanolly, you come to Knockanolly, then it leaves the brakes off. You didn't need them then from that. You know.
Who was the station master at Corrigan?
I forget his name now. He was a big fellow. He was an ex-soldier. He had been at the war, you know, the 1914-18 war. Charlie. I forget his name anyway. Charlie something anyway. He hadn't a great time there. He didn't like Corrigan. He didn't like the people. And he was glad to get away from it. Yeah. And then in 1921, I think it was, they burned the station. Charlie was there. That Charlie got away then. That was that funny. The first time I come up here, it was a man called Esdale was station master here. Lived in the station master's house
At Parkmore.
at Parkmore.
Right.
Well, then after Esdale finished here, then that other fella, McQuitty, he got the job looking after the place here. And he before he did that job, he was in charge of the glen, the paths, and seeing that everything was all right,
Yes.
safe for people, you know.
The platform was here, was it?
This is a platform, yes.
And there's the sign, Parkmore. And that's the water tower that you used to use.
That's there, where the trees are.
Yes. You went to the left of the water tower, did you?
I think so, yes.
And then what happened in here? What was in here? Was there a waiting room?
Oh, the waiting room, yes.
There's the fireplace.
We have the waiting room, there are seats and all for people to sit. I have no idea that this old building was here yet.
And the passengers came out here.
Oh, that's right.
And they looked down the line.
That was the main road there.
They looked down the line for the train. The end of the line, James.
End of the line, yes. Brings back old memories right enough seeing this.
You see, it was made of concrete, which was unusual.
Anything that the railway company built, they built it solid, you
Yeah.
know.
You'd have warmed your hands down at that.
Down at the fire, yes. Oh, my goodness. Isn't
Well, James, we really are at the end of the line
it?
here.
At the end of the lane.
And 3 days a week you would have come here.
Yes, that's 3 days a week.
What were the days again?
Monday, Wednesday and Friday.
You've a fantastic view looking out from here.
Oh, it is right enough.
You have the view out to the Millicantyre, Sand Island, Cushendall,
You see all around it.
Lyrickegan. So this was the platform where all the people would get off.
Where they got off here at the platform, there were never any people got off. There were no passenger trains.
And Mr. Mort,
Just Mr. Morrison was the only one who got off.
and it was his daughter that you would come up here for a curt.
Lizzie and I went across here. There was a well over at the side of the mountain here.
And that's a house where,
That's where Mr. Morrison lived.
did he have a wife?
He had indeed, yes. Wife and a daughter.
Did you have time to have a cup of tea there?
No, we never had any time here. It was just about 15 minutes.
Well, how did you,
Leaving the full wagons off and taking the empty wagons out and away.
how did you find time to have a chat with the daughter?
While they were shunting the wagons, Lizzie and I went for the water,
Yes.
the spring water.
Oh, the wagons would have backed over into this courtyard here, is that right?
Up into the where the sheds were.
Okay. How many miles was it by rail to Ballymena?
1600 trees.
1600 trees.
13.
That's it. That's the end of the journey today, James.